we should be good. Hopefully. We should be... We should be pretty good. To do... Um... Well, I think the stream is stable. Well, we're just waiting. Oh, Twitch tells me I have one viewer, which must mean Clever is here. But I'm gonna wait until he sends a message. Oh, I don't want to wait because I can't guarantee that he's here. Oh. If we can do one, Gregor Samsa, one. Okay, well, I'm just gonna assume you're here then, because I mean it's up on Twitches, and I think. Okay, so it's working. So okay. We'll do polls. Yippee! We'll give me Gregor. Gregor shards. We got 3 Gregor shards. Excellent. That means we're at 300 exactly. We're 3/4 of the way there. Okay. And then we go in the dungeon. Oh, that's part of the problem, is that I don't... Where the hell's my settings? Audio is off. There we go. That was why everything felt so fucking tomb-like. Jesus Christ. Um... Yeah, I guess we're doing this in the charge team.
하라고? 나? 뭐 최선은 다해 보겠다만.
Okay, there we go. We are almost done with regular checkup. Finally, we have a chance for you to overcome an adversity based on what you have learned thus far, and for me to prove my hypothesis. What don't mean to sound alarmed, but what hypothesis is this guy talking about? No need to worry. My hypotheses have never been wrong, most of the time. This experiment is entirely of my own design and supervision, and I will faithfully follow my own pure curiosities and instincts as a researcher. Guys, I have a feeling we're not gonna like with... So that just happened. Now, do you see this monolith here? Yep, I do. That's a monolith, alright, but... don't you worry. My researchers will be the ones to activate the artifact. Activate the artifact? Not on you. Relax. Chill out. Fucking Christ. Understand that none of you will be willing participants to this experiment. I swear, if you're gonna force us to distort... You should distort yourself now! Saying that we have no right to refuse or something. I'm gonna... Yeah, hang on. I can't let you do that, even as your assistant. Yes, but if you must, we are willing to send the weakest sinner among us. No, not Sinclair! Forget I said that. That was foolish of me to say. Also, we're all technically the weakest. I will be the subject of the experiment myself. You're going to distort yourself now? Am I hearing you right? Aren't you curious to see what kind of distortion you'd end up becoming? I'm sure this is a question you have all entertained at least once. No, I ain't curious. It ain't even a very pleasant experience either. Oh, right, because he... Oh, Heathcliff, I wish I could give you a big ol' hug. Stop gritting your teeth like that, assistant. It will have an adverse effect on your long-term dental health. What if you just end up turning into a pecatulum? You could end up becoming a pecatulum, just another one of the fodder we slaughtered our way through for the tests earlier. You're risking that? It is indeed a possibility. It would signify nothing more than my very own limitations. I'm just a mediocre shell. If such an incident comes to pass, these employees will transport me to a containment unit. We even made a bet on what kind of pecatulum I would turn into. Wait. This guy doesn't give a fuck. You bet on Goulet, I bet on Nvidia, and her on Pigretia. But how could you think about it, Mark? What will you have in 100 years? If I were to become a Pecatula, it would be akin to losing at a game of chance. Of course, what counts as a loss may depend on what I, at that precise time, considered to be losing, but the mere fact of turning into Pecatulum reaves me of any value to life. I'd say he was being too hard on himself, but that felt too simple an expression to describe his tone. The company would most likely attempt to transport me to a containment unit, but I disagree with that decision. I would like you to ask you to dispose of me on the spot. I'm well aware that I'm not the kind of congenial person who earns others' favor at a first meeting, if at all, so I don't believe that our brief relationship has been the most amicable kind. Therefore, I see little reason why you would hesitate to cut me down. Guys, I think he might want to... I don't think he enjoys being alive. We should... Hohenheim, you need therapy. You need... I mean, I guess everyone in this fucking company needs therapy. Jesus Christ. We at least get mental health insurance. Of course, sinners with gentle hearts like this young Sinclair here may express certain distaste against this decision. But once I became a Pecatulum, may as well mean that Hohenheim, the entity, has ceased to be. So I hope no unnecessary emotions like guilt clouds your judgment in killing the Precaution, a mere byproduct. But what if something unexpected happens? We're talking about your life here. Don't you have any manuals with backup plans, or... He's like, well, I could manifest ego. That would be fucked up. This is a very simple matter. Nothing more than a coin flip, heads or tails. It appears that you are still insisting on your absurd 50-50 theory. I am a researcher who wishes to humiliate the field of mathematical statistics, unlike the general lay of the academia. I believe there is a certain romanticism to research. It is much more exciting to run as many tests and gain as many samples as we can than be stuck behind a desk, poring day and night over books and paper, isn't it? I don't think this guy knows how to do science. If it's tails, then you may dispose of me immediately, and the employees here will take care of the rest. Don't forget to destroy the key inside that coat pocket and the files inside my cabinets, for example. Yes, we remember. If I were to successfully distort, we would be halfway to success. My, for the first time, I'm feeling quite the envy for you all. I wish I could be a witness to my very own distortion. I set up... We're filming a home video, in quotes. It's like, what, are you gonna, like... No, I'm going to brutally, mentally, obliterate myself. I want to catch it on camera. Send it into America's Funniest Home Videos. That show's still on air, right? You've been paying attention to my lectures. Perhaps you could even come up with a classification code for my distortion too, going by the standards we have discussed earlier. Not that I have a very high expectation that you would. I've recently come to a realization that people nodding along to my words is not a signifier of comprehension, but instead an expression of societal niceties. Then, the manager here will open the entrance to my dungeon of the fathoms, and you will progress through the mirror dungeon as you've always done with facing a distortion, to reach its deepest fathoms to face my distortion once again. I wish you the best of luck in your suppression efforts. Hexasection. And once you've made it that far, it's likely that you will find me unconscious, or if luck would have it, conscious. Unconscious? Are you sure this is safe? A degree of case-by-case variance is to be expected. This really is that ProZD skit. where it's the Yu-Gi-Oh one where he's like, and saw blades will kill you, and you're getting lowered into a pit of lava, and everyone's like, Yug, it's too dangerous. And he's like, I wouldn't have it any other way. And he's like, Yug, are you getting off to the danger? And he's like, don't kink shame me. Hohenheim is Yugi in this situation. That reminds me, that's how this bamboo-hatted Kim was brought back as well. Bamboo-hatted Kim? He's recovered? He is safely contained within our facilities. It seems that they are ready to activate the monolith. I'm confident that I, even as a distortion, will be quite the exceptional specimen. Hang on, just like that? You're not a Precaution. Indeed, and I can still hear them. Yes, I remember, I still do. I know he'll be back, but gosh, this is pretty unnerving. Don't worry, we'll bring him back no matter what. I mean, he did it to himself. I don't really feel the pressure. The manager says that we will bring him back no matter what. Sure sounds like a dependable sort, this manager of yours. Very well, please take a look at this. Is this a note? Did he write us tips on how to do this or something? He says that all you have to do is read what's on the note in front of this distortion. Apparently it's some sort of code. I don't think he'll hear anything but ticking noises from me. Can you read this, Merceau? Merceau! If there's anyone I can rely on to do something that I've never seen any of you do, it's Merceau. It will be done as you commanded. Merceau nodded and then began to read the words from the note aloud. Lobotomy Corporation, 5 minutes, potentiality, anticipation, right hand. The moment Merceau uttered them, The all too familiar portal began to appear around Hohenheim's distortion as though they were a key to a door. Scattering shards of familiar yet alien sights appeared intermittently beyond the shimmering veil. Hohenheim had already entered the portal as we stood there gawking, but we could still hear his voice echoing through the laboratory. I suppose I'll be forced to share my past here, the past I never wanted to share. The past no one cares to learn about. It is something I must endure for the sake of this experiment, however. I needn't expose every little detail of it. It's all in the past now, isn't it? He was like, yeah, none of you fucking give a shit, but you're going through my memories anyway. Okay, that's actually pretty good. It's not great, but you know, it's not terrible. To battle! Go Heathcliff.
규정이라면 따르겠습니다.
What's going on with them? Good. It appears that I can censor these with my own will, at least to agree. Your mission here is to classify my distortion, reach the end of this dungeon of the fathoms, and bring me back. Your mission, however, does not involve digging into my past. This is? It appears that we have a passing familiarity with this place. This is the back door. What is it that they seek to convey? I don't believe any level of proper communication will be feasible, given that you are in a dungeon of the fathoms. Well then, do something about it. I regret to tell you that the setting of this dungeon is out of my hands. Had it been up to me, I would have manifested a place that was much more fascinating than this, like that library, fabled to have every book in existence. You used to work for the Lobotomy Corporation? One of my past careers, yes. Was he in that game? Oh. I worked for him, but you didn't meet me. You cannot fact check this. Diplomacy did not seem to be an option here. The censored people brandished their weapons threateningly and stood in our path. Is this person a reference to something that we would know? It can't be helped. Let's get ready for a fight. Okay. So it's like here, we're in... The music cue would have been a lot more cool if I had... Yeah. That music cue would have been a lot cooler if I was, if I had played that game.
공간을 뭉갠다. 아차! 72조 사망 디행 사열. 이 확인된 강화 시술로 중지를 위협했으니 죽을 때까지 참아줘야 할까.
I was like, why is Ricardo speaking Korean? And then I just remembered that's when all of the dialogue in this game is. I just had like a mental break. I forgot they don't speak English.
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
부족해 찾아졌지
그렇게 시원하게
내가 알아서 처리.
보는 맛이 나.
Man, Faust is just getting owned.
덜 답답한 법이지.
Hohenheim's like, yes, I finally get the fuck over Faust. This is awesome.
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
본인이 방금 뭐 하는 것인가?
자, 이번은 이쪽으로 모으고
예사롭지가 않은데? 아주 작살을 내놨어.
다음은 어디요?
이런 건 몽둥이가 약이지.
Violence really is the best solution in
저는
it.
위대한 일격을 기록하는 중이라네. 이따가 버스에서 회고해야 하지 않겠는가?
Well, I'm just gonna click damage. There's not a second.
잘했습니다.
There's not a second phase. Oh wow, yeah, these are some short fights. Emotions and flame. Regular flames don't seem to hurt the abnormalities very much, so why does this work, I wonder? Perhaps a greater degree of wrathful emotions opens up the room for the fire's heat to touch abnormalities and distortions, both entities of the unknown. They must have noticed us listening into their conversation intently. One of them approaches us with a glint in their eyes. Are you the sample who's agreed to this experiment? If so, try this on. The researcher's hands was what looked like an ignition plug, or a testing machine of sort. You have the wrong person.
싱싱한 풀이 보이네.
I didn't care for a burn ego gift. So how do we know this guy's actually distorted? He doesn't sound any different from his usual self. The sanity degradation due to distortion affects every subject differently. It's for the fire Faust ego. Ah, I see. I mean, yeah, but censoring his own fathoms? But Hohenheim, you're in a dungeon of the fathoms. We will see through it with Dante's powers, whether you want to show us or not. You make a fair assessment. How about this then? You are to see them anyway. Allow me to save you the trouble and give you a quick rundown instead. Come visit me as soon as you finish watching my tale. This tale began when that man walked into my laboratory. Yes, I had a personal laboratory all to myself, one of the few perks of being an elite researcher. This guy's just telling the story however he wants to, isn't he? Mr. Hohenheim. Kill him. Let me think. I don't quite remember what he looked like. Something like this, perhaps? Whichever is the case, I was planning to censor his appearance anyway. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about something. Stop. Are you here to express your displeasure with me? The what now? If you are, do let me know from the get-go. I had a feeling it was about time this would happen. 3 months, not a bad record for working without a workplace conflict. Oh, if this is about quitting, then you would find a much better audience among the human resources team. No, I mean, I'm just here to thank you for picking me, some random dude from the back street, to work here. I heard it was you who made the hiring decision. I don't know how to put this, but you're the only one who saw my, what's the word? Yeah, my potentiality. You saw something that no one's cared to look into me before, you know what I mean? But it had nothing to do with something so grandiose like potentiality. A wing does not hire people from the back streets for something so insignificant. Well, this information has never been publicly available. Lobotomy Corporation's primary criterion was trauma. Candidates with horrible, insurmountable trauma were often favored by the company. Man, it sounds like... That sounds like Olympus companies hiring criteria, and they both start with the same letter. I wonder what the fucking association is. Anyway, In an indirect way, it was only natural that they would begin to favor candidates who originate from the back streets. Your greetings are acknowledged, Jimmy. Now feel free to leave my office. I ain't Jimmy. Anyway, I've been meaning to ask Mr. Hohenheim, why do you always enjoy being alone? It may come as a surprise to you, but I am very adept at spending my time all on my own. It is one of the hundreds of distinguishing features that set me apart from ordinary men. Say, don't you need someone to be your, like, loyal right-hand man? My right hand is doing just fine, thank you very much. Do you believe in potentialities, Mr. Hohenheim? What an unrelentingly stubborn employee he was, even in hindsight. Thanks to you, I do. And I've been thinking, if I keep at it, one day I may even find myself living at large in a nest, changing my world a little by little. Kinda like how a thing like me managed to snag a position here at Lobotomy Corporation. So I'm thinking that I want to stick around in your circle. Bring about such a drastic changes to one's life and is in the realm of feasibility for an exceptional researcher like myself indeed. But you are, like most of the rabble, painfully average in most qualities, and therefore unlikely to be the moving force in that change. I have no faith in universal things like potentialities. I have faith in myself and myself alone. Besides, I'm not very partial to mathematical statistics like the probability theory anyway. This guy is a shitty-ass scientist. He's like, probability, that's a fake field of math. So I would like to keep both my right and left hands as my own. Have a nice day. Want to know something about me? And then he just says, no. I'm the kind of guy who doesn't really think about things. Action before deliberation, you get me? Thoughtless and carefree. Possibly the only merit to be found in those who originate from the back streets. Or was that a thinly veiled start of physical assault? No, I'm talking about the new Abno that just got shipped here. It's a tricky one to manage, I'll tell you what. It reads your mind, screwing up all kinds of strategies or whatever, as long as it's based on hard logic. Want to shoot for the Department of the Year award together? You seem to be rather skilled in the art of transactions. One of the few merits found in those who originate from the back streets. I will admit, I suppose, I was overcome by a certain ennui back then. And in hindsight, it was foolish of me to engage in such inane conversations. The remnants of my past come to haunt us. Perhaps it is I whom they truly wish to hurt. This guy is, he is so fucking... He's like, yeah, what's up? It's me, John Distortion.
포기하지 마세나. 저들의 공격은 우리의 투지를 깨뜨릴 수 없을 테니.
충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 정리하도록.
Like, he is not affected by being distorted at all.
그래, 딱 반쯤 죽여버려. 좀 이항이가 그게 대결이다.
수감자가 되어도 훌륭하긴 하다.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how there's a bunch of R-Corp
보통 알아들을
IDs,
수 없는
but we've never met anyone from R-Corp
자본 수감자.
in this game, at least. I know they show up in the previous two games.
예사롭지가 않은데?
제압
작사를
완료.
내놨어.
승객 보건.
날 뛰어보라고.
내 죄는 내가 알아서 처리.
자, 이번은 이쪽으로 모으고.
그간의
These are very weak enemies.
단테
That took 2 rounds.
조치였습니다.
It's finally here, the Department of the Year award. Indeed, I have finally done it. With some minor assistance from you, of course, and some other employees. Come on, admit it. Don't you notice that a lot more employees are saying hello, good morning, and what have you would see you in the hallways compared to when your reputation was a bit, it's all because I'm that good of a right-hand man. I'll admit that your intuitive and spontaneous eye was of some assistance when it came to identifying certain observations among abnormalities. This is the potentiality I was talking about, man. The same thing you saw in me when you decided to get me on board. Apologies for ruining the moment, but the next few years quickly and busily flew by without much trouble. Of course, we picked ourselves a few more Department of the Year awards, some promotions, and some collaborative researches. Yet all things must come to an end. The infamous fall of Lobotomy Corporation, for one. Man, it's really fucking funny hearing all about how Lobotomy Corporation fucking ate shit. When I play that game, everyone's probably gonna be like, and this is perfect and nothing will go wrong. It's a foreshadowing? So I don't suppose you have any trouble hazarding what they're all telling me, even as the words come out fragmented. You left us. Nothing but words of endless resentment. You left those behind. The fall of the former L Corp. I remember what Miss Yuri told us. The site crumbled in an instant, trapping the employees in there with the abnormalities. What is this sound? The whole structure is quaking. What the hell is... Initiating site burial in 100 seconds? Initiating site burial? Man, what the fuck? Why did... I thought this was out of their hands. No, they just did this on purpose. They just killed everyone. Any remaining employees must immediately evacuate the structure. At the risk of sounding rather callous, I must inform you that the chance of survival in cases of crises such as this is usually granted only to a very small minority of those affected. It's they gave them 100 seconds worth of warning. What could possibly be happening that warranted this? Some who prioritize the fairness of the process may settle on primitive methods such as drawing lots to see who gets to escape. And in more barbaric groups, the survivor would be decided by none other than the rule of might. They were done? What do you mean they were done? They're just like, I'm finished. No more electricity needed. Or like, they were just like, oops, we ran out of money. However, I am glad to find myself among those who are on the side of intelligence, so make this argument a suggestion before you. Compare yourselves, whose sole final purpose in life is clinging to your mediocre office jobs and making good on your debt payment, and me, who has produced several groundbreaking epochal theses and research results at such an early age, whose life in your eyes is of greater worth. Yes, and that is how this tale ends. The compound collapsed 90 seconds later. I left the employees of my department behind and boarded the escape pod elevator and survived. How could you? Without even a hint of remorse? What about this seems out of character for him? Wrath is a hideous emotion. I am here today only because I have always maintained a cold, rational head. The L-Corp branch within Hohenheim's dungeon's fathoms begins to crumble. It almost appeared as though his heart was crumbling as well. Well, now that's over with, I invite you to come face me, the distortion. The experiment will come to an end. But just finding and defeating his distortion in a fight, I don't think that'll bring him back, I just know it. I agree, we're still in deep waters here. This can't possibly be all there is to it. You have to defeat his insecurities or whatever. That's I was gonna be like, well, I know it's a rupture ego gift, and it's not helpful. That's not a helpful thing. Midwinter Nightmare is from a different abnormality, so it has to be this one. Oh, okay. Wrong.
규정이라면 따르겠습니다.
I guess I suck.
제가 괜히 먹을 것들을 사들고 오는 것이 아닙니다, 단테. 이런 보수적인 효과를 기대했었죠.
Oh well, whatever. Oh right, yeah, it's just Precautions.
공격 범위 확인.
There's also probably only one wave, so it's like pointless, I guess.
내 죄는 내가 알아서 처리.
전투 감각 하나만
Oh wait, they're weak.
수감자가 되어 훌륭하게
Yeah, Precatula weren't like a thing until Library of Ruina, right? Or were they not a thing until this game?
이쪽으로 뭐
그래, 딱 반쯤 죽여버렸군. 13조 2항에 맞추려면 그게 제격이지.
Because distortions showed up in Library of Ruina. So
방금 전에
it's not until this game that they
내가 버스에서 회고해야 하지 않겠는가?
did the stuff for it or whatever.
깡총.
잘했습니다.
계약 완료. 승객 보관 준비.
다음은 어디요?
이런 건 몽둥이가 약이지. 그대로 두드려 패.
There's not much to say about these. That was... Were they... I don't even know if they were adequately leveled.
피를 머금을 시간이네.
충전 기능 정.
기운이 넘치는군.
단숨에 정.
역시 직접 선별한 요는 영웅.
Oh,
본인이 방금 뭘
I forgot to check what level they were.
엄청나게 강한 일격을.
으타! 먹어 치워라.
But with the way they're just getting, like, wood chippered, I can't imagine them to be super high level.
이제 그 도통 알아들을 수 없는 말투만 고치면 딱 좋겠어. 4번 수감자.
공간을 뭉갠다.
지금이 기회인 것 같는 어디요? 부위 한쪽이 떨어져 나갔군. 과거 본인의
Clean up
모험에서
support.
자,
Go.
진정하세요.
방금 전에
What level
위대한
are
일격을
you?
기록하는
50? Okay, no, they...
버스에서 회고해야
I forgot. Precatula just
승객을
suck.
정리합니다.
날 뛰어보라고.
They are just, like, terrible.
다음은 어디요?
내 죄는 내가 알아서 처리한다. 해파.
Absolute. I mean, I get... Yeah. I mean, there's not much to say. They're just not good. I guess I'll get an ego gift. Oh, Mind Whip! I very much wanted to Mind Whip.
간단하죠.
That, I mean, this seems This is a little bit ominous. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit ominous.
기차와 같이 달려나가겠소.
He's weak to wrath, so mind whip. This may be my final order to you. Either suppress me and return safe and sound to where you came from, or fail the suppression, place me in a containment unit, and perhaps we can observe what happens next. I hope the new Honglu unit has mind whip. I hope it has something like mind whip. Hohenheim, do you still believe in that potentiality? I do. It's what keeps me going. You only hire researchers from the back streets, don't you? I heard from them earlier. They told me that you're a right pompous bloke, but thanks to you, they can continue to research and believe that there might be things in the world that's worth working toward. Alright. Oh, what the fuck? Subject of observation. Um... On turn 3 gains a new pattern. That's fucked up. Okay, well, that sort of went in one ear and out the other, so I'm hoping it just works. Yeah. If I remember correctly, he watched it afterwards. Well, this could never go wrong. We will simply win very easily. Oh, every wait, every time you hit him with a coin, you get a stack of the thing. That's messed up. Oh, what the hell? Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, God. What the hell is he doing? Okay. So I'm assuming that when he unlocks the new pattern, that's when he unlocks the new passives. Yeah, next turn he uses the big thing. Okay. Um. Yeah, we'll save Mind Whip for next turn. Wait.
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
This shield stuff is gonna be annoying as hell.
이 안정감이
I see.
푹신 최선. 이런 푹신한 날은 안 풀리는 일이었지.
Wait. And prepares to use a powerful skill. Yeah, okay. I thought this was turn 3 was the powerful skill turn.
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
Yeah, and we also get the fragile from this. Mind Whip! That went crazy.
그렇게 했을 테지. 이만하면 훌륭하군.
Okay, this is the powerful thing. Okay, what does this skill do? Okay. Oh, what? 3 tremor bursts. That's fucked up. Oh god. I mean, he doesn't auto crit, but also he also has a lot of poise. Oh, that just wins. We just win there. We just win that clash, apparently. I'll win this clash.
공격 범위 확인.
아하.
출력 최대치. 으이? 그건 저들이 거리 끌 것 같지 않으면. 아하! 한수 접어주신 겐가?
Oh, 200 damage! Even though I broke the coin? Jesus Christ! Save for a few parts that were censored. I concealed nothing from your view. And of course, it may be reprehensible from a moral standpoint, but why would anyone ever look at it from that perspective, manager? Yeah, I guess it's like 33 damage each. Especially when you are well aware that in the city, such a perspective is entirely irrelevant and worthless. You can feel his gaze on me. Like he said, the suppression is going well, but this feels wrong. That it shouldn't end like this. What should I tell him? What is Hohenheim trying to hide from us? It's probably the shield passive. Running away? An interesting point. But allow me to retort. My choice is not to run away. To deny and evade what has happened is too pathological a choice, isn't it? I'm very well aware that the only way to solve a problem is to face it head on. Which is another aspect of myself that sets me apart from the common man. When an issue arises, or in very rare cases, were I to find myself in a tumult of emotional nature, I first attempt to establish a logical explanation. I could reconstruct what was perceived and regulate my emotions. Expressing fury and anger is a plain waste of resources. But I must admit one thing, now that I have conducted some level of cold introspection, I'll admit that I wasn't entirely mature of me to censor so much of my fathoms. Of course, this does not mean that I will now remove the censored memories. My ego is not so feeble as to be shaken by a few words. I didn't really understand what most of what Hohenheim was talking about, but can't shake this thought that everything he's been saying was just an effort to distance himself from his own emotions. Inadequate defense.
신바르면 남는다네. 이건 좀 아니야.
Okay, that's Wait, doesn't lose rupture count? That's messed up.
충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 점령.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing the yellow. Never mind. She got staggered, I guess.
공간을 뭉갠다.
Oh well. Otis is also inflicting rupture.
직접 싸워보질 않아서 되게 효과적일 것이라고 생각했나. 관리자의 전투 교육도 위에 제시해야 할 수 있겠어.
Oh, I got Honglu. I guess you're gonna... Yeah, I mean, I must not be reading it right because rupture does not lose rupture count when under 3 rupture count. I assume when he gets hit. Yes, from Otis.
답드리겠습니다.
Otis skill 3 inflicts rupture. Doesn't it?
차량을 정리한 후에 답드리겠습니다.
Yeah. As you say, this really is a magic bullet that will never miss.
다음 세상으로 넘어가려면 참 여기구나.
출력 최대치.
That skill is fucking crazy. Yeah. So I assume it's not like a
역시 니놈 말대로 어떤 사람이라도 맞출 수 있는 마법의 탄원이다.
it's not like it's I don't know what the thing is, but it's like sometimes it's not going to. Yeah, we're gonna break the shield. We're gonna break the shield. Oh no, wait, we don't have enough wrath for that.
내 앞을 막을 자는 없어.
We broke all the way, almost all the way through his shield with fast. Well, it does burn, so, and the shield, his shield gets broken really easily by burn, but I guess it didn't matter at all.
이 기회에 평소 지휘 실력을 확인해 보죠, 단테.
Okay, and here's the big move.
보십시오.
I don't think we have... Yeah, I think I have to use an ego here. Ah, fuck it. Yeah. But I figure I should just put down some, No, wait, I've already used teleport, so... Like, what's the point? Any heals? I guess... This is the closest I have to a heal. No, fuck it, this one's pretty good.
전투에 임하겠습니다.
Never mind. It's fine. We can still win.
야, 괜찮냐?
The SP passive is not fucking doing anything. But you are incorrect. I've already done much contemplation. What if you do feel like what you did was wrong? I've definitely concluded a long time ago that I have indeed done no wrong. Let me say this in advance that I am a rare breed of researcher who detests the study of probabilities and statistics. I, Hohenheim, am not the kind to make irrational suggestions such as drawing lots to see who gets to survive. I'm not the kind to partake in barbaric contests of strengths to survive either. Indeed, there was no other recourse. My only option was to come up with an argument that was ultimately vain before the urge to survive, arguing for my survival on the grounds that I was the most useful one out of us all. However, they all made a rather objective decision for me. They overcame their base desires for mere survival and made a forward-thinking decision for the future. So no, I have no reason to believe what I did was wrong. It shouldn't be wrong. Even as Hohenheim defended himself, it seemed as though some sense of responsibility was pulling him down. Especially those last words. I could barely sense his usual air of confidence. Us all?
지금 시계를 돌리기엔 촉박할 테니 다른 수를 생각해야 할.
Oh, we all got unstaggered, so that's pretty good.
쓸모 없어진 놈은 후퇴시키는 것도 좋겠죠.
Oh, events unstagger everyone. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
공격범위 확인.
공간을 뭉갠다.
Yeah, we are really close to a stagger.
방금의 공격.
Hopefully we can stagger him before we... Right, because the serious skullbuster goes through and then his unbreakable coin. Jesus fucking Christ.
제대로 들어가.
That was a pretty serious skullbuster. Not gonna lie. That was a pretty serious skullbuster. Holy fuck.
내 앞을 막을 자는 없어. 소란이 줄었네요.
400 damage. 500 cigarettes. The escape pods to the surface are here, but there's only one seat left. Ryoshu does carry. They're saying the next one's in 5 minutes. Look, I don't actually believe you hired me because you saw my potential or something like that. I saw me with Rio and Gregor being animated in the 400 cigarettes meme. Wait. I need to see this instantly. It's in YouTube. When she lit the cigarette, they had a fourth match flame animation appear with custom model and music that went way harder than it had any right to be. But I want to believe that you found hope and potentialities because of me. A hope and an anticipation that we can make things better as long as we keep at it. I can't leave you all behind. I can't just save my skin without... Did I find it? Yeah, it was pretty easy to find. Oh, it just got sent to me. This is what a right hand man does, isn't it? Take my potentiality you found and rise. Take it with you to the surface. You, Johann, what about Sebastian Bach? Well, maybe next time, some other time. Wrath is a hideous emotion. That is why I did nothing at the entrance of that branch. Only remembered, nothing more. Remembering the ones I've left behind. I've returned safe and sound. Welcome back, boss. To be frank, I once wished to be someone like yourself, Heathcliff. What are you talking about? We don't want Heathcliff to be like Heathcliff. Yeah, I mean, I assume, right? It's Survivor's Guild. He's like, he hypes himself up because if he actually sucked, it would be like their sacrifice didn't matter, right? That's like a nice, it's like a nice little narrative. Because it's not easy to put my faith not in games of numbers, but in those slimmest potentialities of the world and continue to exist. I know it's not very befitting a researcher to be so, but it is quite the romantic attitude for a human to embody, is it not? Well, the experiment is over. It was. A huge success, all thanks to us, right? No, it was a failure. I had established this hypothesis that the sole answer was to hold a firm belief in the self and nothing else. Had my hypothesis been correct, I would have remained a distortion. Thus, I would like to extend my gratitude to all of you. Thank you for making me fail. It seems... Faust is like, damn it. HE5SU. Disappointingly mediocre, but I don't suppose it can be helped. The world is a place where we must find the ray of potentiality among the mediocre, after all. Let us move on now. Mephistopheles is prepared to depart. Hohenheim's researchers waved at us. Well, meet up again, right? Ew, no thank you. Everything has an end, so do consider this to be our final meeting. Down to the last exchange, this guy. I really hope he shows up again with a final line like that. It's like, you thought it was our final meeting, but you trusted me? I am. I was wrong. Though I'd only taken a step or two, the entire world around us seemed to transform, letting us back inside the transportation instrument. For your inevitable clash at the end of the road. Now that I think about it, we didn't even get to learn why Gregor's bones make those cracking noises. All we learned from this experience is that sinners have become mediocre, but they each hold certain potentialities within themselves. Each of us mulling over the events at LCE, we returned to the bus where Khan and Virgilius were waiting for us.
착각하지 마라. 해파, 거태. 내 놈들 덕분에 내가 강해진 게 아니다. 내가 강하기에 내 놈들을
Wait.
휘두르는 거지.
What am I missing? Did I not get an EX clear here? Oh, yeah, I'm not getting that. Alright. Let's do a little bit of this. Oh, Happy New Year. I want Heathcliff to be Heathcliff. He's great. I love you, Heathcliff. Yeah. Event just ended, yeah. Dante, any idea where that leftover cake from yesterday went? That means I'm, like, very nearly caught up, which is wild to me. No idea. I mean, why would I know? I can't even eat. Darn, did Donkey already get her paws on him? Rogia rubbed her tired eyes, muttering something about how we should have partied in her room instead, and stumbled to the back door. New Year's came swiftly to the inhabitants of the bus after the various incidents at the LCE. The sinners all came from different backgrounds and parts of the city, but annual celebration for the New Year seemed to be a thread that connected their cultures together. They began floating the idea of a New Year's party, and... You might want to be on track to clear this in the next week or two. I'm probably not gonna get too into it this week. But once we get a date for Kanto 8, I will at least I might need to schedule an extra stream. The 15th? Okay. So if I have 2 weeks to do it, that's definitely possible. Excellent, then permit me the honor of hosting this banquet. With her usual overdramatic boast, coupled with a familiar twinkle in her eyes, Don Quixote declared that there would indeed be a New Year's party, and thus it was decided. Again, after all the hell we went through with the backdoor and whatnot for the out-of-season Christmas celebration? Yet I must insist, for 'twasn't but an effort to decorate the bus, the intent quite divorced from the act of celebration. Don Quixote glanced at Sinclair, sheepishly scratching the back of her head. Don't worry about me, really. Well, 'tis true that mine actions hath brought thee quite the distress. Unintentionally, I might add. Thus I ask thee, wouldst thou not agree that a communal event to mark the occasion might freshen both our spirits and bodies? I can't even begin to imagine her amnesiac self even taking a moment to give a damn about how Sinclair might take it, but I guess with memory came tact. You know, it's our first New Year's together. It sure is an occasion for a celebration, huh? Gotta hear that bell go ding to really mark the transition to a near year, right? It seems that we shall be welcoming the first light of the new year in company of one another. This is indeed a cause for celebration. A bowl of noodles before the last night of the year fades. Classic. Such bubbling enthusiasm from you warmeth my own heart. Forsooth, the grandiosity of this banquet shall be one for the books. fireworks most brilliant, enough delicacies to... Caron, when's our next stop? Matthew will be running non-stop for 3 days at least. Only dum-dums stop on a fast road. So she says. Virgilius muttered with his usual sardonic edge, one fist under his chin. Bye. For next year's celebration, the banquet shall be prepared ere the promised hour. Thank you. Damn. That would have not happened before. She would have just been like, but Sir Virgilius, the red gaze. Perhaps you could find it in your heart to allow us a mite banquet of sorts. Rhodia brought out the cakes and cookies she'd stashed in her room so we could at least hold a small celebration for the New Year's together. After that, we all stayed up together, watched the New Year's first sunrise briefly paint the city in gold, and then retired to sleep. Oh, fuck. When everyone woke up, rubbing their tired eyes, the world outside the bus had completely transformed. Yeah, they really are like... It's a found family story. That is a really big fucking cube. This reminds me of Matt, you might know the picture I'm talking about, but when I went to Japan, there was like a building that looked sort of like this in just sort of a residential neighborhood. And there's just like a big sign on it that says it's like an exercise building. I don't know what's in there. There was a behemoth of a structure, bizarre in its presence, and its walls seemingly made out of gargantuan steel plates. My god, Steve's really been going hard on those iron blocks. H-Corp. Sinners began to voice their surprise, appropriately so, as what came into view was different from any of the nests we'd passed by on our journey thus far. Is that massive structure all one building? That whole thing's the nest, then where the hell is the back streets? That's big enough to cover H-Corp's territory and then some. Well, there he goes again, asking dumb questions without ever taking a peep at the guidebook. You thought Steve, I thought Wally? That is pretty Wally. That's not the nest. That huge box you see over there? That's District 8. We call it Hongyuan, the vast garden here at H-Corp. The nest lies within the center of the structure, and the back streets without. So they squeezed the entire population of this district in there? Do they not just get a ray of sunlight all year round? Well, at least they won't have to worry about the rain. Aha, prithee, avail me of the sight as well. As the sinners began to gather one by one at the side of the bus, stirred awake from their late night's rest, I felt my gaze drawn toward Hong Lu. I looked for signs of concern or distress on his face, worried. It wasn't exactly something unique to Hong Lu, but the stories about his past home life we'd heard throughout the year whenever he felt like sharing them were all consistently and terribly depressing. That's the point. He's like, well, I'm not at home, so I get to be happy, except this is a lie. It's not such a bad place once you actually try living here for a while. But his lips, ever so slightly curled upward to a kindly and relaxed smile, are making the same expression as ever. An expression that hasn't changed at all since our first meeting. Maybe it's just a cultural difference, kind of like how Hong Lu can be so nonchalant about things that should give most people pause, but... Actually, no. I'm not helping anyone or anything by entertaining these thoughts. My job at this moment is to keep a close eye on Hong Lu more than usual. And if the time comes for me to help him as the manager, I'll give it my all. Besides, whoa, this thing's even bigger up close. Verily, I carry no recollection of a structure so grand even in past adventures of mine. If my efforts aren't enough, I know I can trust the sinners to lend me a hand. Hey, let me see too. Collected my thoughts and perched the sinners who were flattened up against the glass window to get a good view. Oh wow, I just saw Mephistopheles at the bottom there. The duel? We better not have the duel.
준비.
싱싱한 풀이 보이네.
Once we left the bus. Oh man, can't believe we had to get off the bus here. We have to make a formal complaint against H Corp for this crap. What the hell are they thinking doing shoddy construction work at the entrance of the highway that leads straight into the nest? Many causes there may be to such construction projects, yet perhaps an early warning sign ere our approach to the site would have been a sensible Were it not for young Charon's most valiant drifting, I shudder to even imagine the terrible possibilities. It would have been a most awful end to an adventure. There's no surprise that sinners had all had a piece of their mind to speak. As we drove up to the entryway, we unexpectedly came across a mess. We badly put together steel plates blocking our path in the middle of the road. Charon quickly spun the bus around, which meant that everyone ended up being thrown about like rag dolls. Good thing there was another road off the highway that leads to the city, right? I bet Charon would have tried to reverse gear all the way back to the last interchange. But looks like we'll be going through all these winding alleyways to get to the nest. It's so dark in here. We were greeted by a dark street upon disembarking from the bus, illuminated only by faint strands of light. It was immediately obvious that we found ourselves in the back streets of H Corp. It looked pretty impressive from the outside, but it's no different from the other back streets inside, eh? Yep, it's a familiar sight. Gotta say, it's getting real old. I ask thee, is the nest of this district shrouded in such darkness as well? No, these particular sites are limited to the back streets. The back streets of this district weren't very different from the other ones we'd visited in the past. People hurrying through the streets as though they were being chased by something, people scowling and glaring at the ground with some sickness or discomfort, seems all too common in every corner of the city. There was one thing about this place that stood out from the other districts, however. They're kind of reminding me of the former G Corp soldiers back at District 4. What? What do you mean? You mean these fellas? Growths on their flesh appeared too organic to be prosthetics. Some of them had odd protrusions or nodules bulging from their skin as well. Not at all, Manager Bot. Look, they've been all mutated in the same pattern, like an insectoid form, for an example. Well, I guess I should commend you for not looking at them through a biased lens. You are observing the aftermath of District 8's distinctive method of treatment. Oh, so this is where the rumors about that bluish healing ointment came from, huh? Apparently they can cure any flesh wound after one night dressed in bandages. So it's just the shitty version of the K-Corp ampules? It seems that certain misconceptions must be addressed. They are the variations of H-Corp singularity, the bolus. Nickel bolus? He's likely referring to the medicines brewed and kneaded into ball-shaped pills. Correct. H-Corp, or the Hongyun Bioengineering Group, mainly manufactures boluses that contain essences of treatment. Essence of treatment! The boluses may be taken orally, ground with water into a paste, and applied directly to the affected area, or dissolved in water, soaked in bandages, and wrapped around the necessary area for treatment. I guess rumors transform as they travel. Oh, I see. I was just thinking about how they do things back at the K-Corp. The focus of K-Corp's technology is the reversal or recovery of one's conditions. Returning to the original state is the key word in their treatment. It is no rare sight to find unique techniques and technology developed independently by the inhabitants of the backstreets of District 8 using the manufactured boluses. Treatments are not individually customized for each patient. Instead, their focus is on selecting the appropriate technique from a myriad of choices to address the deficiencies in their statuses. Perhaps one could choose the words transformation or evolution as a more illustrative descriptor for the method of treatment. So that's what counts as treated? The crowd Sinclair was pointing at certainly appeared unhurt, as none of them were bleeding or walking with a limp, but many of them appeared dazed, staring blankly at nothing, or scratching absent-mindedly at their mutated parts. it's mercury. They're all drinking mercury, clever. Ah, they must be the regulars. Unexpectedly, we found our answer not from Faust, but not from Marceau, but from Hong Liu. Regulars? Yes, I've heard of them as a child, people who've grown too accustomed to visiting the clinics in search of their mystical treatments. The regulars might appear more intimidating than most people at first glance, but apparently all the side effects they've been stacking changed them in strange ways. It is highly likely that interoperation conflicts or issues will arise when applying highly disparate treatment methods to a single body. At least, it's a cheaper alternative for people who didn't sign up for life insurance. You speak of life insurance? Yes, life insurance. There's a special insurance option to bring the client back to life upon the event of their death. So the irony isn't lost on me, but I thought resurrecting people was one of the head's taboos. The head does not consider the revival via life insurance to be a violation of their non-resurrection taboo. It's likely that on a technical level, this revival is actually categorized as brain resuscitation as opposed to a full resurrection. Degradation of its functions considered, of course. Another fatal downside to this technology is that unlike the manager's clock winding, the subject cannot be brought back if their brain is destroyed. Also, there is a risk of significant losses in the process of information transference. Losses, huh? So maybe some of their mutations could be more than just the side effects of these treatments. Maybe, but I heard it takes more than 1 or 2 revivals to change that much. And since apparently people in the backstreets could never even dream of paying consistent insurance renewal rates, so... After all, who would sign up for insurance if using its services could reduce them to such a pitiful state? Yeah, they appear pathetic and pitiful to you rich bastards, don't they? You'll soon be in the same boat as them, so save some pity for yourself. Identify yourself. The stranger's voice cut through our discussion like a foreign instrument. We turn around to find a large group of people who are clearly up to no good. You must be the young master of that high and mighty Jaw family, eh? I can tell just by looking at your pretty face. Your friends, Honglu? No, I haven't had much chance to get acquainted. Dream of the Red Chamber. I haven't even touched it. I haven't considered it. Yeah, I haven't thought about it yet. I'm still like a quarter of the way through Wuthering Heights. I'm not in it at all. Hello, Jail Garden, by the way. Welcome to the stream. Of course you haven't. Too busy living large, playing gods. In a whole different world from us plebs, huh? Not that it matters. We're just here to take the thing you brought here for submission to the family hierarch evaluation. The what evaluation? Okay, there's clearly been a misunderstanding. There's quite a lot of them. We're not off to a great start here, but... huh, man. Perchance? It'd be a violation of our office's core values to jump them like we're some common thugs. I, Shen San, third son of the Triax office, challenge Chao Bao Yu of the Jaw family to a duel. Our wager will be that the winner can take anything they want from the loser. Wait, what do you mean a duel? A duel! I have heard that tale that duels of the honorable fixers of the Sync Association Eastern Branch announced their intent to duel by stating their affiliation and name instead of casting their gauntlets. And the pamphlet that young Ishmael had presented before me earlier presented the truth that Triax's office is indeed office of the East, although they are indeed of a lesser quality. 'Tis true, genuine, accurate declaration of a duel that we behold. So it's just a fancy way of saying 1v1 me, let's go? In it? I mean, this guy doesn't look too tough. What do you think, Faust? Agreed. This individual does not seem to possess any particularly exceptional skill that may pose difficulties for Hong Lu. I think it's gonna be okay. I'll be back in a minute, Dante. You sure this is okay? I don't think you're gonna lose against him, but you know, just in case. No worries, I have some childhood experience with duels myself. I've done about 10 of them, I think. Huh, so the rich boy's dabbled in some duels, has he? I think you misunderstand. I meant to say I've done about 10 of them a day. Oh, but grandmother sometimes let me skip them, so it might have been slightly fewer than that on some day. What? I Hong Lu of Limbus Company. No. Value of the family, except this duel. Hong Lu stepped forward confidently as the opponent was processing what he just heard. For a moment, Hong Lu stood there in a stance that did not express even a hint of aggression, before curiously cocking his head to the side. I'm sorry, are we waiting for something? Oh, I always let the opponent get the first 2 moves in duels. Please, don't hesitate. Let me, your cocky pride shall be your downfall. The man who introduced themselves as Shan San leaped toward Hong Lu, then after about a minute... How is this happening? Unlike Shan San, who was throwing punches and swings with boiling hot passion, Hong Lu was effortlessly gliding between his opponent's strikes like he was out on a picnic. As though this was but a leisurely stroll through a garden. Whenever Shan San threw a powerful punch, Hong Lu redirected it to the side with ease, the fist only grazing his clothes. We were mesmerized by the feathery light movements of his hands and feet that effortlessly glided through the air. Until after one blink and you'll miss it moment, we realized that Shan San was already face down on the ground, defeated. He was just flexing. Hong Lu is just aura farming. What the hell? Oh my god. Oh, Hong Lu, hast thou been concealing thy full strength in our presence? Oh no, I wouldn't say that. I always put my all into every fight. Yet, to defeat this foe so soundly, to dance with such grace between his strikes is... 'Twas as though we were dueling someone whose skill may only measure against a child's. But most of our fights happen in environments with a lot of variables. And usually we fight against enemies with all kinds of unexpected weapons and powers. You read him. Already familiar with that fool's moves? Oh yeah, one of my Bibu instructors used similar techniques as this gentleman here. Practice makes perfect and perfection makes an expert, right? Right, but I'm not sure if that's entirely relevant here. Well, anyways, looks as though he soundly kicked your behind in this duel. Let us through, why don't you? Preferably not do the thing I think you're about to do. This duel wasn't overseen by a notary office anyway, and our employer's not gonna let this failure slide if we just leave. Huh, don't just sit there, move your asses and jump them! Huh, pathetic. I can kind of see how you're becoming experts at getting jumped. With a bitter cry of the defeated, his gang rushed towards us. Was that rat that was like around here had red eyes and that was messed up?
공격권을 확인.
Yeah. After reading a bunch of like summaries of some of the books, I'm like, it is pretty accurate to say that they are sinners. Like Faust in a more literal sense, but Merceau just killed a guy just to do it. He was just like, I just need to do it. Oh, I just want to see what would happen if I killed that guy. Vaguely. Yeah, he is the side character if I remember.
내 앞을 막을 수는 없어.
그렇게 시원하게 처리해.
공간을 뭉갠다.
일을 좀 빠르게 하는 편이 그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없진 않았군요.
지금이 기회인 것 같소.
적합한 조치였습니다.
지금이
Oh, that guy's dead.
돌파가
이항에 맞추려
뻔히 보이는 게로군. 방금 전에 위대한
Okay.
기록하는 중간에
I think they lost.
보여야지 않겠는가? 공격 범위 확인.
내 죄는 내가 알아서 처리한다. 대파.
What's the new ID? I think I heard about it, but I didn't. Right, it's the. No, is it the Arcor Ponglu? Is that the one that's coming out next week? Ah, I am excited because that's a charge unit. This isn't really a great start, fellas. It's never easy, is it? Hey, at least we got a nice warm-up. It wasn't all bad. I don't know, this seems more serious than our usual street brawls. Ishmael's right, they weren't your everyday thugs who picked fights with random people for no reason. They were contracted by someone to specifically target and eliminate Honglu. And given how open they were about their intent, calling it a contract, it doesn't seem like whoever gave the contract was exactly going for subtlety. Then maybe this was what Shichun was talking about way back when she mentioned surviving as heirs. Whoever is behind this must have a bone to pick. Bone to pick with you. There has to be at least one where he's not smiling already, right? Indeed, it seems that we must expect more skirmishes like this going forward. Was this trial not readily overcome? Not the point. Think on it a little bit more. Seems like they're assuming that. I mean, given what I know about R-Corp technology, it makes sense, right? Based on the fucking... based on the ID story for R-Corp Ishmael, it makes sense that he would be pissed off, or he would be upset. Because the fucking reindeers have some fucked up technology. Right, I don't think it's like story relevant. I think R-Corp just sucks. I think their weapons are like awful. Like they're good, but they're awful. Then there's no reason to assume that we've seen the last of them. They're gonna try again to take out the competition. A highly accurate assessment of the situation by the executive manager. I expected no less from someone of your genius. I guess that's fair. Going for the classics of brown nosing today, Otis. I love brown nosing because at first you're like, oh, I guess it's just like a thing people say, but then you think about it. Since when was it brown nosing to compliment a job well done? Do you not expect? This inane conversation is most riveting, but I would prefer some silence while we wait. Seems that the companies foresaw such difficulties. They've sent you a support team to help handle this issue. We heard the voices coming from behind us, from where Virgilius pointed. My, you guys still haven't learned how to stick to the plan, have you? I'm pogging? It really threw me off when I was told to meet you in some backstreets location away from our agreed rendezvous point. Familiar voice, a voice we could not forget. Oh my god. Been a while, everyone. Oh, it's Pilot. No way. We turn around to follow where the voice was coming from and recognize the two people we've been hoping to see again. Maybe if we didn't mercy kill that guy, he would have actually lived.
거태. 내 놈들 덕분에 내가 강해진 게 아니다. 내가 강하기에 내 놈들을 휘두르는 거지.
Pilot episode, yeah. Soda! People may have forgotten that Honglu doesn't literally smile all the time, and I don't blame them. The game pointed out at the beginning of this intervalo that he doesn't change his expression, so that's probably why. Yeah, I mean, he has plenty of sprites where he's not smiling. It's just that he smiles in order to hide other emotions a lot of the time. What's wrong? It's like you're all looking at a ghost. Pilot, didn't you tell me you shared my news with them the last time? I did. I sure did, ma'am. Oh, yeah, he did. Sinners each recover from the initial shock of seeing them again, and soon their faces began to bloom with relieved smiles. Well, good to see that things haven't changed much around here. Sada, we're so glad to see you're okay. TikTok to you too. Good to see your gears are turning just fine. Sada smiled with a familiar grin. You do not seem to have changed much since the last time we met, save for a few minor differences. Her outfit and her badge, for example. Last I recall, you were promoted, yes? Allow me to congratulate you. Yeah. The hints of melancholy were hanging from her smile and flickering in her eyes. Hey! I'm merely congratulating her on her promotion and offering a recognition of her excellent accomplishments. I don't see what your problem is here. But we all know the meaning of that promotion carries. Indeed, and it is very profound. After all, what meaning is there to a promotion attained without spilling some blood? Otis, please. Please read the fucking room for once. You're a real piece of work. Let me ask you something then. If everyone behaves like you do around here, tiptoeing around the facts, keeping it hush-hush about what happened, where's she going to get the bare minimum of the recognition and the consolation she deserves? Hush-hush would have been nice. I've overheard some of them whisper that I let my partner die just so I can snag a promotion. So in that regard, I appreciate that, Otis. If we're being technical, I did die, except my brain was intact. Not even K-Corp's regenerative ampules could have revived me if it wasn't. Then, did Effie also? Apparently, they went right for Effie's head when they stabbed him with a prosthetic. According to the coroner's autopsy. K-Corp ampules, life insurance. Neither of them can revive someone with a damaged brain. It is what it is. Anyway, let's not dwell on the depressing stuff. So what the fuck is Dante doing? We're here for work. Let's get some work done. So let's talk about work, okay? Pilot. Yes ma'am. Well, let's see here. Yeah, I remember seeing a meme of Mersa seeing like, here's everyone's face sprites, and then the Mersa has literally 4. He has literally 4, as opposed to everyone else having like 20. Coincidentally, I happen to make friends with a feller who has ties to the Jia family, so I brought him over. Yeah. Is that everything? Yes, sir. Briefing over. Just as everyone was reeling in stunned silence at the least informative, least helpful briefing we ever had the displeasure of sitting through, Ishmael was the first to catch herself. She looked up at Sauda. Sauda, can we rely on you for some elaboration here? The briefing was a good demonstration of the necessity of educating the 5 W's and 1 H principle. Looks like we have a lot to discuss once we get back, Pilot. Did I do something wrong? Pilot buddy, just stop. You're digging yourself a deeper hole with every word. Oh, Gregor. Gregor quickly leaned in to warn Pilot, but it was all likely too late. A nigh unnoticeable crease had already formed between Sauda's brows. Prior to commencing this high-priority operation, it was necessary for us to find individuals with connections to H-Corp. So we, as the preliminary observation unit, were put to the task, and we managed to establish a connection with an individual. Oh, someone from my family? No, we tried, but your family proved to be a rather difficult nut to crack. However, as we were wasting our precious time with all of our leads, Pellet pursued an unconventional method to establish this connection. I really didn't hold back on compliments then, and this is how you... Our collaborator is a former employee of the Jaw family. After leaving the family, he now runs a lodging business. Then it is likely he is far removed from the family politics, plus motivation for him to attack us due to conflicting interests. Yes, and according to Pilot's report, he still regards the Jaw family positively. How could I not, considering the blessings they have given me? An unfamiliar voice butted into the conversation as though to continue Sada's explanation. I humbly present myself before the fellowship of young Master Bao Yu. Please call me, Ching Tao. I am going to fucking keel over. I'm gonna get fucking obliterated. He greeted us in a most polite fashion before bringing his hands together in an odd motion. Oh, is this how people greet each other here? Yep, it's called the Bao Quan gesture, bringing a fist of palm together to express respect and peace toward the receiver. Aha, knights greet one another by shaking their hands of the self-same purpose. Forsooth, thou art indeed one possessed of a chivalrous spirit. Ah, indeed. Much did I worry about the qualities of people young master has surrounded himself with, but I see that he is in company of those wise in the way of the West. I prostrate myself before the vast breadth of your knowledge. What grand generosity it is to open ajar the waterways of wisdom to quench my barren lands. Jesus Christ. We could never have an easy fucking job. Something feels familiar about this. She's been getting less and less verbose with bootlicking these days. Not like this guy, for sure. That's true. He kind of like... How should I put this? A bit much? What are you guys talking about? Communicating only by the sound of a ticking clock. This is something I had already known ahead of time, yet... What most curious exchange to behold in person. Brief this journey may be, yet I shall find myself thoroughly entertained in its entirety. Maybe it's the subtle sprinkle of disrespect that reminds you of the usual flavor. Wait, is this about me? You dare! Was all that bootlicking she did supposed to be a source of pride for her or something? Otis shook her head with clear distaste and strode toward me. We are nothing alike, executive manager. Never have I once said such empty flattery in your presence, filled with nothing but hot air and superlatives. I'll leave the guidance of these back streets to him. Well, looks like this is where... Sada fell silent, her eyes lingering on Virgilius, who stood somewhere apart from the rest of us. So I finally get to meet the Red Gaze in the flesh. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time. Effie would have loved to be here. Manager. Virgilius seemed to sense her lingering gaze and walked toward us after nodding slightly in her direction. Manager Sada. Let's not make this day any longer than it has to be. I'm not happy to be helping you with your business. I'd much rather put this behind me as soon as possible. Oh please, it's our historic first collaborative operation, isn't it? Can't you spare a little bit more time with us? The guy Bud's actually doing something? That guy? Yes, unfortunately, LCC has our own business to take care of today, so I won't be accompanying the LCB this time, and the Red Gaze will be helping us out to get it done. Taking my fee there. Vroom vroom. Maybe it's not that unfortunate, now that I think about it. I feel like every mission with the LCB's always been an uphill battle to get anything done. Well, you see, back then we were... Haha, just messing with you. I'm sure we have another chance to work together again. Boss, we don't got much time. Right, before you go, I think you owe us some explanation, Virgilius. I will leave the details to Miss Faust. I am quite busy. Very well. Faust, you do all the expositing. I know you love that. Virgilius turned around and left toward Mephistopheles with an oddly disgruntled expression. Well, I'll see you around. Next time I'll show you that I can carry my own weight. You know, oh boy, last time we met I was totally so damn pathetic. Pilot, confidence is shown through action, not words. Sada and Pilot gave us a light nod before following Virgilius. Some sinners opened their mouths to speak, hesitated, then closed them again. We let them go without a word. Perhaps we didn't know what we could say to not make this an awkward farewell. Very well, please, this way. But perhaps we were simply mindful of this guy who was responsible for the quality of our stay. It's not much of an ambush if you tell me about it beforehand. Alright, we're gonna do this, and then I think I'm gonna stop for the day. Deep resentment ought to be washed away. When the far one comes betwixt the burnt doors, shall a star fall astray. The burnt doors. Are you sure we're going the right way? I don't like the sound of these weird songs. The main streets are most likely teeming with those seeking to bring them harm to the young master. We must venture an alternative path. And like you said, there wasn't any skirmishes once we made it deeper into the dark alleyways. The lack of foot traffic would normally be pretty unsettling, but I guess that's what we needed at this moment. As for the song, it's a song that's become rather popular in the back streets in the recent months. The lyrics are pretty ominous for a popular song. You got like Katy Perry, Gorillaz. What the fuck is happening these days? I don't know what kids like. It is a song that spread through word of mouth. It sings of how the decimated Kong family. This is not the place to discuss such matters. I will share the tale in a more appropriate setting later. No, Donkey Kong fucking died! No! Didn't know there was a song like that. Is this the first time you've heard it too, Honglu? He's a posh git from a posh family. I doubt he's ever set his precious feet in the back streets, so it's no wonder he's never heard anything like it. I have been to the back streets before, but Heathcliff isn't wrong. I did spend most of my time in my room. That is precisely because you are the most treasured one of them all, young master. Much like how the jade of the greatest worth is to be cherished, prized, and hidden in the deepest depths of one's coffers, where none shall reach. I'm like him? To a lesser degree, particularly as of late. Oh, she's thinking about it and she's like, oh, fuck! I suck? Oh, no! That guy used to work for the Jha family, huh? Otis is having a cringe ego death. Holy fuck! I never thought I'd see the day. Do you know him, Honglu? Young master, is there something on my face? Honglu stopped himself as though a thought flashed his head and glanced quietly in my direction. Then, it's nothing. Shall we continue walking down this road? Indeed, humble as I may be, I'm very well versed in the roads of this area. Honglu shook his head at me as he casually changed the subject. It was as though he was trying to hide something we know from Qingtao. Should we be suspicious of something? He is a collaborator, but only a temporary one. A degree of caution would be advisable. Pilot's clear inexperience and naivete, we would do well to remain suspicious of his character. Faust and Otis approached me as Honglu was nodding along and chatting amicably with our guide. Well, looking back at our journey so far, I think we learned our lesson about blindly trusting every collaborator we came across. Who betrayed us? Oh, right. Jace Beleren in the last canto. This growing mistrust in mind, I slowly made my distance from the guide before asking Faust a burning question. So what was that about? Back there with Virgilius? Something about him going off to help them out? The consequences of his actions at Wuthering Heights. Oh, his actions were a violation of one of the more important items in his contract with the company. He is simply taking responsibility for the breach of contract. I think back to the incident at the manor. It feels like such a long time ago now. Yeah, it does. That was a cool as hell level, though. Well, that's kind of a bummer. He really helped us out of a pickle. What? That's what they're dragging him away for? Is there a problem on our guest? It's nothing. Nothing at all. No problemo, right, Ryoshu? as you idiot. I love you, Ryoshu. I don't know. I'd have to think of. I would want to hang out and like play video games with Ryoshu, but I feel like it would be dangerous. Like I might die. Yeah, I might die. but if we could prevent that from happening, it might be fun. It will be done. Heathcliff, punched in the gut by the hilt of Ryoshi's sword, fell forward right onto Merceau's welcoming shoulder. Rhodia, you know the kind of person I hate the most? The kind of dull people who can't read the room. Don't you feel the same way, Dante? Yep. Not enthusiastically, as something seemed to imply that she wasn't really asking me a question. I don't think she was about to punch my lights out, but Rodion and Ryoshu judged correctly this time. Classified company information must not be discussed in the presence of an outsider. Reminds me of the time he got knocked out cold for a while because he kept asking questions without raising his hands. This guy just doesn't learn, huh? You successfully preserved the secrecy of classified information without spilling blood. I applaud this policy. I did good, didn't I? Oh, Otis complimented someone who's not Dante? Hello? I'm just not a fan of how they're treating Heathcliff like dirt now. If it is no problemo, as you say, then that is well indeed. Yeah, I really like Otis. Like, all the characters are good. Like, there's like sort of like a level to each of the characters that we've seen now. Right? Otis being like, oh god, I have to get over my trauma and also realize I kind of suck. And then yeah, but she just complimented Ryoshu and Rodion. They're not nobles. And it's like, even the ones who haven't gotten Kantos yet are having like these levels to them. Yeah, Otis is the second strongest person. What happened to finding us a safer path? Their job is to manage this bag of idiots and that's it? Middle management? Yeah, that's basically how middle management is. It's likely that my guidance isn't... I mean, I actually, as someone who, like, has done management and knows manager stuff, Dante is actually a pretty good manager. If Dante actually had, like, perfect information, right, the amount of, like, thought Dante puts into like team cohesion and sort of planning is quite commendable. It's likely that my guidance has indeed given us a much safer path away from the more obvious skirmishes. However, to my great regret, it appears that the more observant of our enemies have tracked us here. Someone's making like fucking mustard gas outside my window. Damn it, then what are we even here for? Isn't your job to prevent this exact scenario? Huh, let's leave the finger pointing for later. We're gonna have to take them all down. Someone's making fucking mustard gas! It's crazy. They must not be allowed to disseminate our current location. Exactly. Where are you slinking off to, Mr. Xingtao? I must regrettably and humbly say that my talents in war are terribly lacking, so I intend to become scarce for a moment. Yet I have the utmost faith in the strengths of our young master and the honored guest in overcoming this adversity, so... Since I was already standing so far away from the front lines, he was practically hiding behind me. Faust, anything you can tell us about these enemies? No, but a consultation with the Gesellschaft seems unnecessary if we are to determine whether negotiating with them is an option. They're coming. So, wake Heathcliff up and set him down. It will be done. Oh my god.
위에서 당신을 관리자로 정한 데에는 합당한 이유가 있겠지. 기대하고 있겠습니다, 단테.
Okay, hold on, they're kind of cooking.
충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 정리. 공간을 뭉갠다.
그래, 딱 반쯤 죽여보자. 13조 2항에 맞추게. 그게 체격이다.
강력한 공격은 단순히 적을 제거하는 이점만 있는 것이 아니죠. 이제 저들은 자신도 그렇게 될
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
I could probably just hit win rate, honestly, now that I think about it. Honestly, damage even.
어떤 상황이 닥쳐도 포기하지 마세라. 저들의 공격은 우리의 투지를 꿰뚫을 수 없을 테니. 대가리 딱 떼도. 으타! 뭐 부족해 차려졌지 않나.
Wow. My god. He really wanted to lose that clash. Yeah.
좋아. 이번에는 제대로.
I don't have enough envy to activate the passives my W Otis and multi-crack Faust. So it's like not even really a question.
이런 건 몽둥이가 약이지.
Plus,
그대로 두드려 패.
everyone gets like 4 charge from it, which is like really strong.
충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 정리. 제압 완료. 쪽으로 모으고. 승객 보관 준비.
지금이 기회인 것 같소.
He might be. It was probably worth body sacking.
제압 완료.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없지만
내 죄는 내가 알아서 처리.
적합한 조치였습니다.
씹는 맛이 있는데?
다들 기운이 넘치는군. 역시 본인이 직접 선별한 용기를 북돋는 영웅당 탑5가 도움이 되었는가? 공격 범위 확인.
In the pre-Canto 6, thank you for reminding me, I would have completely forgotten. In the pre-Canto 6, back voice line, I remember what it sounds like very clearly. It's messed up they changed it. By that I mean that's like good. Because it shows Heathcliff character development. Oh, this is not necessary.
전투 감각 하나만큼은 수감자를 이용하긴. 이제
씹는 맛이 있는데?
알아들을 수 없는
부족해 차려잡지 않아.
딱 좋겠어.
Oh, shut up.
잘했습니다.
Hostiles in the immediate vicinity have been eliminated. Our collaborator, who'd been hiding far from the battle, quickly ran up to our side as soon as the fight ended. Are you unhurt, young master? Yep, I'm totally fine. Of course, our honored guest's martial skills were all exceptionally brilliant, but young master, your light was the brightest even among the incandescent. This humble servant could not hold back his tears at the wonderful sight. To witness such excellent martial arts from none other than the young master himself, what an unexpected surprise. But don't the children of the Jia family undergo all kinds of strict training regimens from childhood? It was simply my assumption that young master had ceased his trainings once he had departed the family. Anyway, how did you think they tracked us down anyway? About that, it appears that we weren't exactly tracked down. Perhaps it may be the ilk who lurk in these parts of the back streets recognize the young master's venerable countenance. I don't think my face is that well known. The family hierarch evaluations are nigh. Every soul in the living in Hong'an must know the face of the young master who is loved by every elder of the family. Must be that they are under the assumption that you are carrying something of great value. Family hierarch, huh? Didn't Zhao Shijun say something about heirs back then? They all assumed wrong then. I didn't bring anything precious that the elders might be looking for. Young master, even now? I just couldn't care less about it, that's all. Besides, many of my siblings are much better fit for the family hierarch than I am. He's like, I don't give a fuck. I genuinely don't care. Oh, that's, well, that is indeed a relief. A relief, is it? Oh, you saying he's like, I'm calling you out on your bullshit? But of course, it is highly dangerous endeavor to partake in the hierarch evaluation, so it is a great relief to know that young master is not putting himself in unnecessary danger. I guess that could be a relief, sort of. Now that we all took him down, there shouldn't be any more on the way, right? Greg, can we not jinx ourselves for 1 second? Why are you laughing, Ryoshu? Now I'm worried. Ryoshu knows something fucked up is gonna happen. She's like, jinx us? You think we need jinxing? I don't believe in the devil. I don't think humanity needs the help, says Ryoshu. Please do not concern yourselves any further. We will take a more clandestine path. I guarantee a safe and easy passage to our destination. I still have a hard time buying that. The lay of this place would constitute a perfect place to set up an ambush in most places, yet you claim this is the safer path? Yet I must ask you to place your faith in this humble servant, for Hong Yuan is not like most places. Fine, for now. Otis shut her eyes for a moment, out of retorts, then returned to look at Ishmael. Hey Ishmael, you must have a pamphlet of this place handy, don't you? No way, you're actually going to read it? Why else would I ask? No, I mean, how could I not be caught off guard after almost a whole year of getting brushed off by everyone every time I plead with them to read the damn pamphlets? Like, hell, did no one think to? I will find my own intel if you're going to ramble on and on with your grievances. Okay, fine. Here it is. Oh my god, Otis character development? Otis's character development here can be described as step 1, someone calls her cringe. Step 2, someone compares her to the cringe guy, and she's like, oh my god. Literally dies of cringe. Otis opened the pamphlet and began intently glaring at its text, as though she didn't want to miss even the smallest detail of information in there. Suspicion clear on her knitted brows.
착각하지 마라. 해파 거태. 내 놈들 덕분에 내가
Well, I
강해진
have
게
20 more in Kefalin, and
내가
we have
강하게.
a regular level up, so
정리 작업 시작합니다.
we'll do that one, and then we'll finish this stream. You're on a desperate run. all the while fording off hordes upon hordes of enemies. Oi, what happened to safe and easy passage? Explain this shite. At first, the young master's radiant countenance was made known. I thought we were finding a more clandestine passage. How come we're getting jumped by even more enemies? As I have said, the young master's radiant at least trying to give us a little variation to your excuses. I cannot so easily say that he is being untruthful, given the disjointed allegiance of the enemies attacking us. Otis played with a pamphlet in her hand, clearly frustrated but unable to establish anything concrete. For people without a clear allegiance to attack a member of the Jaw family, looks like everyone in the backstreets has been getting pretty plucky while I was away. Back then, I couldn't even catch a glimpse of their faces. They'd all be on their hands and knees whenever we walked past. Ah, what a wonderful change. Honglu's just a nice guy, and also he probably is deeply traumatized, but he's just a nice guy. Oh, shove that wonderful change up your ass, you bloody loon. How much longer till we get there? My Kazan is near. Calm your worries. Our guide seemed oddly calmer now than he did at the beginning of this journey. Did he really get numb to all the violence that fast, or... Speaking of which, what's a Kazan? It is a term commonly used to refer to taverns, inns, or equivalent places of lodging in this reason. Lodging, huh? Like a hotel? It's gonna be pretty fancy then, huh? Do they serve like complimentary snacks and drinks like the warp train? Not sure about that, but it seems like the Kazans also serve alcohol and food alongside their lodging services. Maybe we can get a meal in there. And whew, hopefully we won't be attacked there like this. Residential non-aggression taboo. Any mutual acts of violence inside a residential building is within this particular area and floor of Hongyuan a taboo. A taboo. We may rest easy within that. I saw Faust's eyebrows slightly twitch, as though she had heard the most ridiculous thing, but I guess I'll ask her about it later. This guy's lying out his ass. Oh man, if it's for some kind of family hierarchy or family head selection contest, why couldn't they save all this fighting until then? Because it would be too late. Late how? Every hierarch candidate must have brought incredibly precious treasures with them. It would be nice if they believed that their own treasure is the most precious of them all, but everyone's gonna try to take each other's just to be sure, I see. Just in case someone else brought something even better than their own. And might as well kill them too, for the sake of convenience. Is that how the folks in your family think? What kind of line of thinking is that? But other families didn't seem too different from mine. Damn. Heathcliff! Deepest apologies for intruding upon this most enthralling conversation, however. We may be inviting even further trouble by dallying here. With that, the guide pulled out a watch to check the time. It will be nighttime soon.
장부에 적힌 놈들은 볼 때마다 기가 막힙니다. 우리 중지가 엄지처럼
You know what? Fuck it. When right.
충전기는 점검.
엄지처럼 이해할 수 없는 걸 요구하는 것도 아닌 것 같지.
How? How? How?
자, 동료들이여, 자세를 갖추고 저들을 맞이하세요.
충전기는 점검.
우리를 가로막는 저 시련을 해치우고 끝나지 않는 모험을 향하여.
날 뛰어보고 딱 반쯤 죽여버려. 13조 2항에 맞추려면 그게 대격이지.
저 새끼 팔다리 다 털렸는데 이제 뭐 어쩔 건데? 야, 아까는 좋았다.
이상 승객을 정리합니다. 핫!
공간을 뭉갠다. 제압 완료.
Just barely killed that guy.
날 뛰어보라고.
골치 아픈 것들이 고기 조각이 되었군요, 단테. 나쁘지 않은
대가리
성과입니다.
딱 떼도록.
Kill. Kill.
예사롭지가 않은데? 이거 착사를 내난다.
Also, this theme cool? This theme is cool. Oh, really good rip space, actually. We really needed that.
두드려 패.
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
Bam.
지금이
Oh, he's dead.
범위 대가리. 자!
전투 감각 하나만큼 수감자가 훌륭하다. 이제 또 알아들을 수 없는 말투만 붙이면 딱
Man, multi-crack mouse can do some shit.
딱
Jesus Christ.
자! 으타! 더 먹어치워라!
그래 그렇게 시원하게 처리하니 보는 맛이
자,
Man.
저는 이쪽으로
Soon I'm gonna be able to replace 2 members of this team. I'm gonna put on multi-crack Heathcliff and Arcorp Honglu. Now, here we are. Is this the place? After running through the alleyway after alleyway, after turning corner after corner, we finally came across the site of several small buildings tightly built next to each other. At the center of them was a building lit with red lamps, adorned with a door plate with complicated-looking letters scribbled over it. This is shoddier than I expected. Hey, isn't this place a bit too trashy to house your precious young master? That is not our building. Please, look this way to see where our honored guests will be staying for the night. I knew it. I heard so much from Honglu about all the splendor, all the... Huh? We followed Xingtao's finger and arrived at a small warehouse of sorts, its exterior painted black. That looks even smaller than Mephistopheles. Can we even all fit in there? Hey, that place looks trashy as heck even for us, let alone your young master. This is the nearest Kazan we could afford to stay in, at least among the ones that I manage. Yet its location in the back streets heavily limits the level of decency it can afford. My deepest and sincerest apologies, young master. Don't worry, we can always sleep in decent places. It looks just fine for an overnight stay to me. Are you nuts? Can that thing even fit all of us in there? Much did I wish to guide the honored guest to the family mansion in the central zone. However, the time... Oh, the sweeping wave. Doesn't that start at 3:13 in the morning? I feel like we've got plenty of time to get there. Exactly. Don't we have more than enough time to get to the family mansion? According to the H-Corp travel guide, the central area is only like an hour away from here. Has the honored guest traveled to District 8 before? Well, no, this is my first time here, but... Then one must ask how the honored guest could claim to have the full understanding of a place merely by flipping through a book when she hasn't even had to contend with it in person. Innumerable unpredictable changes await in this teeming jungle of buildings, the ever-shifting structures, constantly changing paths, ambushes from foolish samurai warriors, or even the opposites of the backstreets. Oh, we are beset by danger from all sides. Such bold, flippant approach to predicting the phenomena of this place is to court death. Even a toddler must know that. One fails to disguise his utter sorrow at the inadequacy of her wisdom. Is it just me, or are we all thinking back to when Ishmael back at the Great Lake? Dip it, Dante. But if the guidebook lists a path, does it not imply that it is technically possible to reach there in time? Otis suddenly took a step forward. In her hand was the H-Corp travel pamphlet that Ishmael was talking about. I have faith that if our executive manager would lead us in your directionally challenged stead, holy fuck, they would be able to lead us to our destination before night falls. And this isn't even like, oh, brilliant executive manager. Oh, this is like, this is your... Me? This does not appear to have been discussed beforehand. Very well. Allow me to speak freely without frills. My responsibility is to bring the honored guests to the central zone and to ensure the young master's safety. It is indeed technically possible to reach the family mansion before the night in the back streets commences. Technically. Yet, not even one iota of danger to the young master shall be permitted. The mission that has been so graciously bestowed upon this humble servant is not to... It is said that those engaging in strategies and plans must remain wary of losing sight of their purpose, to stubbornly forge on toward the family mansion in lieu of necessary intel to see when these mobs of assailants would end, is to wrongly prioritize the journey over the destination. You. Wonderful. Truly impressive. You have all the qualities of someone I would trust with my life when devising a stratagem. This is the most fitting attitude for those who genuinely wish the best for those they serve. Really? You're just gonna start going along with him all of a sudden? I have misunderstood your intentions, truly. They sparked my ire by comparing some of your choice words with my very own. Yet now my eyes have been opened to the honest loyalty that lies in your heart. Is she being honest? I don't know. This humble servant did not imagine even in his wildest dreams that there would be someone who understands the fathoms of his loyalty. It seems that young master has certainly gained an eye for allies and fellowships. This is a cause for much relief in my heart. Listen to him. This one knows how to jest. They're basically best buds now, huh? No, they fucking hate each other, I'm pretty sure. I may have lost my cool for a moment there. Anyway, this man speaks true. It is highly likely that we would have exposed to attacks of similar nature were we to continue moving at this time. She's just fully on his side now, isn't she? She's probably trying to pull some info out of him. That's when I realized that she was looking in my direction. The exaggerated smile had all but completely faded from her face, replaced with an odd but dead serious expression. When our gazes locked, she nodded. She must be completely turned around by that guy. Is this her way of saying so long? I'm gonna go quit and work with this guy now? Thanks for everything. No! Dante! And as for this hotel, it is much better than sleeping in outdoor tent barracks. We should be able to relieve ourselves of some fatigue in here before moving on. Do not earlier insist on continuing our search for a better accommodation with the greatest vehemence, Miss Otis? Yeah, whatever. We get your point. Let's go inside. Whew. My humblest self can only behold your generous acceptance of this insufficient lodging with the deepest gratitude. After all that serious talk, the man seemed oddly relieved to hear our decision as he brought his fist and palm together. Architecture of today mustn't be judged with such haste merely by an observation of their exterior. The interior may hold aught to be surprised of. Worry not. Freudian surrendered. Wouldn't that be nice? We made our way into the building. Oh, this actually ain't bad. It's clean in here. This place presents a rather classical aesthetic. The landscape paintings lining the walls give off a rather sophisticated mood. And it's much more spacious inside than it looks from the outside. Did they use some kind of space expansion technology in here too? No, it seems that the building only appeared small due to the density of structures and proximity. Well, the door is open now. Should my presence be required, I shall be in the small shed next to this building. Please, do converse freely. That is the most fucking suspicious thing I've ever heard. Yeah, I'll just be nearby. Please feel free to tell me all your secrets. Man smiled awkwardly and quietly excused himself as the excitement among the sinners began to grow. Meanwhile, Hong Lu stood a fair distance from the guide, quietly watching his face as he left. His expression was enigmatic, as if he was gazing upon the clouds, the flowers, or even the wind. But there was no light in those eyes. It was as if they beheld a storm cloud, a desolate field of wilted flowers, and a howling, destructive gale. Do you suspect something, Hong Lu? So I decided to ask. Not yet, I don't think. Huh? Not yet? So, big brother, something felt off to you, too, huh? That's when we caught a familiar voice. Wow, Shijun, it's you, and so soon, too. Yeah, I told you I had a feeling we'd be seeing each other again very soon. Have you been well, young master? I'm so glad to see you're doing well, Mr. Wei. Oh wait, don't tell me you're staying here too, Shijun. Yeah, her butler is alive. I mean, he seemed competent. I normally would never set foot in a place like this, but I ran into some kind of large-scale construction on my way back to the family mansion. Had to come in through the back streets. So we weren't the only ones troubled by that random construction site. Oh, hail to thee! The confident look on Shichun's face was immediately replaced by that of alarm. Did she lose her memories again? Is she with you? Oh, Don Quixote's the same as always. But she looks like such an airhead. Young Shichun, well, wouldst thou accompany me to the lounge for a moment, so that we may share a moment of catching up? Oh, yeah, actually, let's do that. Hold on. Yeah. She left before she could see what happens. Hold on. I also like how she's like, actually, I really want to hear what the fuck is happening. Shichun seemed to hesitate for a moment, staring at Don Quixote after hearing that her memories were intact, before walking right up to her. I like that idea. Shall we? Wait, why don't you go and find a room for me to stay in while I talk some things out with her? Oh, what? You wanted to do some catching up, right? 'Tis, manager Esquire. Loss of critical personnel may be a cause for disciplinary action, Dante. I don't think there's anything wrong with making friends, though. Looks like Shichun really likes Don Quixote if she's comfortable enough to tease her like that. It's not Don Quixote she likes. She obviously just wants Don Quixote's power she saw back then. My lady, this is hardly the appropriate place for it. Fine, I'll try again later. Go get some sleep. I'm heading in too. What part of her sounds like she knows social interaction? I don't know. Shichun sighed with a bit of disappointment before heading into the lobby. Well, let's all head inside now. So I and the rest of the sinners followed her into the lodging. Thus a new ship was born. That is a funny one.
내 놈들 덕분에 내가 강해진 게 아니다. 내가 강하기에 내
Oh,
놈들을
this is a story node. So let's do this one, and then I'll stop. The last one for real. I really want to see. I mean, I know that guy's a fucking weirdo, but I really want to see exactly what he's up to. Everyone was busy looking around and commenting on various things in our lodging, but Sinclair appeared to be the most anxious of them all. Sinclair? Something in here stands out. Like, imagine an ideal picture. Did you call? Oh! Ideal. This is an ideal comedic scenario. Holy shit! Oh, I missed that joke he said. That's not what I was. I'm not. Anyway, am I the only one who feels like something stands out? I love Isak. They're all great. I love them all. I really want them to make plushes of all the sinners so I can put them up on a shelf. And am I the only one who feels like something stands out like a sore thumb from the whole picture? Oh yeah, glad you brought that up. I didn't say anything because I thought it was just me. So what's so off about this place? Isn't it obvious? Where's all the complimentary snacks go? What's that weird mystery table at the center of the room? Huh? That is kind of weird though. What's the table doing there? Its saturated colors are quite the pleasant sight to behold. So is it any better inside? What the hell is that hideous table? What do you mean hideous? The kerfluffle sparked by the particularly unsightly piece of indoor furniture calmed somewhat once everyone made it inside the building. Of course, no one was able to discern the real purpose of that table yet. Every step on the floor leaves black residue on the shoes. Not only the floor, touching the walls leaves, not to mention how the walls ripple in an odd fashion. What could possibly be the construction of this structure? Well, my guess is that the maintenance staff's been slacking. Maybe, but why is everything so neatly organized if that's the case? I've been to enough seedy establishments to tell when a place has gone a while without a tidy up. At least it appears that each room is furnished with a bed. While this is far from optimal, executive manager, we may be able to rest here. Huh, I guess they really didn't have the time to clean up. Shichun. The last person to walk in after having taken her time to examine the area outside the lobby stared blankly around the room with an aghast expression. I'm not even sure what to say about this ridiculous negligence. Then found her room after leaving a scathing remark. It ain't the first time we've been sauntering right into some shady business, innit? Let's just cross that bridge when we come to it, yeah? I guess anyone could tell that there was something definitely wrong about that guy. Some sinners, including Heathcliff, had already slumped to the floor, vociferously expressing their desire to rest with a collective sigh of exhaustion. A yawn, even. Well, it is pretty weird, but at least we have a roof over our heads. In that case, Dante, perhaps this may be a good time to announce today's close of business. I've never made this announcement outside the bus before. Oh, right. I hereby confirm today's close of business for the sinners. Understood. As soon as she finished, sinners began to relax in their own ways, some stumbling into their rooms, while others lingered to speculate over the bizarre table at the center of the room. What the fuck is wrong with the table? It looks like a normal table. Got something to say, Otis? Yes, executive manager. It's about our guide. You tell. Oh, your new best friend from earlier? Seemed like you guys were getting along pretty well. What? This is simply untrue. Did you not see the signal I gave you earlier? What signal? Oh, you mean when you nodded slightly in my direction? It has stuff on it. Indeed, that individual has an informational advantage over us when it comes to this locale. Regardless of how sound the accusations we come up with were, he would have been able to explain them away using his familiarity with the region. I thought as the party with an informational disadvantage, it would be wise to feign camaraderie and friendship with that individual and go along with their plans while trying to dig out as much intel as possible. See, in Otis, this is like one of the times where it's like, no, Otis actually knows what she's fucking doing. I seriously thought that suspicious guy totally won you over. Executive manager, I've been in this business for many years. How could you even imagine that I would be fooled by an amateur spy who's so overtly... It's nothing. Otis's disappointment was palpable, but she stopped herself as though she remembered that there were more important matters at hand. Well, it is uncertain as to how long that individual will be accompanying us. It would be reasonable to speculate that he approached the LCCB with the explicit purpose of eliminating Hong Liu. I present the fact that it was Pilot, that inexperienced greenhorn, who somehow conveniently came across this connection, as another evidence supporting this suspicion. Yeah, I saw R-Corp Hong Liu is coming. I'm very excited because that's a charge unit for my charge team. That's also true. Faust also has information to share. Faust joined the conversation after listening to us discuss for some time. A review of every known taboo has failed to identify one he called residential non-aggression taboo that universally prohibits acts of violence when in residential areas. Then that also has to be... It is too early to come to conclusions regarding that matter. It appears that this area, Hongyuan, has taboos that change depending on your location within its territory. However, considering that every other circumstantial evidence, we can come to a conclusion that he was most likely lying to us. Your assessment cannot be denied. In that case, we must already be deep within the enemy's machinations. The constant stream of random assailants we faced earlier was most likely part of their plan. It may be very well that this building itself is also a trap, yet we lack the intelligence about this particular back streets to be certain. However, we do have one minor advantage. It seems that they have severely underestimated our capabilities, given the low caliber of the assailants they decided to send after us. One thing we can capitalize on is the mutual lack of intel. Keep our guard up, remain alert, and we should be able to navigate our way out of this trap, executive manager. Like, that's a good evaluation of our situation. She knows what she's doing. I'm sorry about the misunderstanding. Honestly, I didn't know who or what to trust. Then I would appreciate it if you could trust me fully next time. No, Otis. Please, you need to get over your trauma. I mean, yeah, but it's like, I'm used to her, like, being like, no, I'm like the second in command. No, I'm doing something silly, as the serious comic relief character. But no, this is right. It's not surprising. It's just that she has not had a good chance to show off this part of her skill set yet. Otis bowed politely and returned to her room. Faust and I chatted a bit more about Kung Tao and his plans, but our discussion ended without bearing much fruit. Oh. That's another story node. Do I want to do? Yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it. I realized that Hong Lu was missing as I was spending time chatting with the sinners. I didn't notice him going into his room, so I walked to the exit, about to look for Hong Lu outside, and ran into Zhao Shichun and Wei, who decided to stay in the room close to the door. It's getting late. Where are you going alone without a guard? Oh, I'm just looking for Hong Lu. Right. I can't understand what you're saying. Oh, right. When it comes to conversing without the sinners, I find that there are two types of people. The first type says whatever is on their mind without pausing for or caring to hear my reply. Hubert, Dongrang, Ahab. Given that this type of person isn't actually looking to communicate with me, that simplifies things a little on my end. However, it's also oddly insulting, as it seems as though they don't recognize me as a human, but rather a wall, or a clock on a wall. And then their other type is the one that reads me so well they might as well be able to hear what I'm saying. Virgilius falls in the latter category. He recognizes the pitch of my tics and talks, reads my body language, or sometimes even claims to see my expressions like how Don Quixote does. And Zhao Shichun, who saw through me with that short exchange... Okay, let's see. Just looking to get some early morning air? Does your prosthetic head even have a respiratory function? Wouldn't have guessed from the way it looks. Did not belong in either category. No, not really. I'm just looking for Hong Lu because I haven't seen him in a while. You're shaking your head, so no. Then are you looking for something to eat? She's a new one. Type that tries to figure out what I'm saying without asking for help. My lady, would it not be wise to wake or find someone who may be able to translate? They would have done that themselves if it was for something important. I'm kind of curious, though. What was that hand gesture you made when I first asked? You, brought your index fingers up to your cheeks. Well, Hong Lu's always smiling, so I thought maybe I could simulate his smile to convey what I'm looking for him. Perhaps it was an effort to express cuteness or beauty. What? No, I was trying to express a smiling face. Oh no, this isn't gonna be easy, is it? Huh, they're TikToking a lot more vigorously. Hey, I think you're onto something. This conversation was starting to veer into a completely unintended territory. After a bit of trial and error, I see, you're looking for my big brother, huh? We took some very roundabout ways, but I was eventually able to get her to understand what I was trying to say. Well, if he's who you're looking for, that's easy. You should be able to find him by the lounge back there. I doubt he got very far from there if he even left. That's where you're trying so hard to communicate? Zhao Shichun was strangely enough disappointed and dispirited by my reply. I did have something to tell you too, but never mind. I feel like the mood's been ruined. Let's talk about this another time. I was curious, but it would also take ages for me to ask how she's feeling, so I nodded to express my gratitude before heading to the back entrance. And I found Hong Lu gazing at the hazy scene out the opaque window. What are you doing here? People watching. There were some stumbling through the streets outside. As I stared outside the window at the scene, Hong Lu seemed to sense what I was thinking and began. Are you worried for me, Dante? Well, yeah, it's your turn, Hong Lu. It really is. I'm back at H Corp and everyone's talking about the family hierarchy selection. But you don't have to worry about me at all, because I did not wish for anything from Limbus Company. Really? I'm not like he's saying. I'm not hiding my true feelings. He says as he smiles. No one gave me a wonderful promise like they would help me recover from my torn and broken wings. I joined only to have some new experience, that's all. But we do know something's definitely going to happen, whatever it might be. something that will shake you to your very core. Even if you didn't wish for anything, going through something like that could. Probably yes, but it's okay. I'm used to being led by the will of others anyway. No matter what happens here, I can't do this like everyone else. Because that's how it's always been. Whatever happens to me or to those around me, I only... Loud boisterous bellows suddenly cut off Hong Lu before he could even finish his sentence. Oi, let go of me. Just listen to that sod talking. It'll tell me I'm not supposed to get mad at that. Dang it, lower your voice. What are you guys doing back there? Gregor and Heathcliff, who were most likely hiding behind the entrance door, tumbled into view. I knew I shouldn't come here with this guy. Couldn't you be patient for even a few minutes before bursting out of here? How long have you two been listening? From the very start, course. I thought he was finally making some sense at first, but what's that? You're used to following others' will? Didn't mean to irk you, Heathcliff. I'm only telling the truth. Bloody hell, I'm about to burst a vessel. Oi, buggy bloke. My buggy bloke. Buggy bloke. Bro, am I supposed to practice patience after listening to all that drivel? I think I'm practicing plenty of patience despite you calling me buggy bloke out of nowhere, so yeah, you are. That's not what I... Finally, some silence. Anyway, sorry about listening in, fellas. I'll let you in on some big secret if you let this one slide, though. What's the secret? Gregor rubbed his arm awkwardly as I stared at him in silence, then pointed at a pillar in an exaggerated motion. Guess who's hiding behind that pillar, Manager Bud? With that, two familiar figures stumbled into view from behind the pillar. How could you betray us like that, Gregor? Blah. Bad, weak, and highly annoying. Good night, snooze fest, she says. Huh? Did I get that wrong? I never said GNS. When did you get an FU? Ryoshu looked at Sinclair with some interest before slicing open the ceiling above the entrance. And with uncharacteristically wet noise for something cutting through a wall, a black ink-like substance dripped onto the floor, followed by Roger and Otis crashing down after. This is some fucked up shit. GTFO. What? Didn't realize I had garnered such an audience for my story. Executive Manager, the sole reason I followed you out here was for the purpose of protection, as I was concerned for your safety. I'm not like the others who have followed you merely to sate their curiosities. Me, I was just bored. Then, shall we continue the conversation, Dante? Everyone back to your rooms now. Buggy bloke! Buggy bloke! There's no fucking way. The Hay Show pack. It's like the people. Yeah. So actually, I have no more enkephalin. So that's it for tonight. So thumbs up. I'll see you next week. I mean, I'm like already pretty much more than halfway done. Even if there's like a couple battles, I'm pretty sure I can finish this next week. And then the week after that, I will be completely caught up. So I guess we're starting Library of Ruina, which is, I don't know if I want to play it for like 1 week. Maybe I could just do like a mirror dungeon. Or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I even can do a mirror dungeon. So, all right. Good night, everyone.